Welcome to There Is a Method to the Madness. My name is Rob Maxwell, and I'm an exercise physiologist and personal trainer. I am the owner of Maxwell's fitness programs, and I've been in business since 1994. The purpose of this podcast is to get to the real deal of what really works, and most importantly, why things work. Hence the name, There Is a Method to the Madness. Before I get started today, let me thank Jonathan and Lynn Gilden of the Gilden Group Realty Pros. They are committed to providing the highest level of customer service in home sales. Why don't you give them a shout and figure out what your home is worth? 386-451-2412. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my Max Fitters out there. Coach Rob here, talking to you about good old health and fitness. So, people have asked me, they say, do you think that AI is going to take away from the fitness industry? They have machines now that tell people how many reps to do, how much load. I think even the local YMCAs have some of those machines. I mean, there are, different programs you can get at home that do that. AI trainers or whatever you want to call it. I mean, the short and the long answer is absolutely not. I really believe that people need people. And as I spoke about a few episodes about how, man, as in our species' use of tools is our superpower. And I think AI and everything else can be a great tool, actually, and can be a great tool within the fitness industry. Like, I will use it for quick research if I'm working on a book or working on the email or working on something. Then I will ask AI to break something down for me, and I will check it out and see the sources and all that. So, I mean, that's cool. And plus, you can just look up fun stuff on AI in the fitness world and get some quick statistics. So that's good. I mean, that's pretty much all I've really used it for in the fitness business. And I'm sure there's going to be other uses for it in the health and fitness industry. And I know that there's other uses for it in other industries. So no, I think that it's a tool, and I think people need people. And this podcast really isn't about AI replacing fitness or trainers or anybody else. That's not really what this is about. This is more about how much we need people. Like, the fitness community is so important. I mean, the number one reason why people hire a personal trainer, as I've spoken about many times, is accountability. Of course, there's I want to learn how to exercise properly. There's the I want to be pushed crowd. There's all those, and they're all good reasons. But the number one reason is accountability. I mean, I would say the majority of my clients know how to work out. After just, several sessions, they probably can figure out, how to work out, or, how the programming's going, what they need to do next. But they need the accountability. I mean, is AI or anything else going to do anything other than set an alarm? I mean, I guess some of the machines, like I said, at some of the local YMCAs, and I'm sure at definitely more advanced places, are telling you how much weight to use based on different statistics that they know about you from the past. I mean, that's great, but is that going to get you there? I mean, no. I mean, accountability is number one, because people need people. And I believe it is a huge aid to getting in better shape, is having a community of people to support you. And that's, In my new book I'm writing all about that. And support is huge. Statistics have shown that people that feel supported are far more likely to reach a goal. And as much as our AI friend, whether you want to call it, I'm skeptical, not skeptical, I'm tentative about saying the name right now because in my phone will then go, yes, what is your question, Robert? So you can imagine the name I was going to say. I mean, they're not going to be our true friends, right? I mean, it's pretend, but they're not going to be our true friends. We need people. I can go back to when I was a very early on exerciser, gym rat, right in college and high school. I had different gyms I went to, but my very first gym I ever went to and, made a community in as far as that goes. And I can still picture the guy today, and it's been probably 40 years. I still can picture the guy that sat behind the desk as I walked in. His name was Scott. That's all I know. And I know he had big glasses and he helped out and he was there for a long time. So I still remember that. And I could walk in and he'd be sitting there. Or if he wasn't there, he'd be cleaning something in the back or getting something out of the back or whatever, and I'd see him. We'd have index cards or whatever the check-in process was, and we'd do that. We'd sit there and we'd talk a little bit about football. We both liked the NFL. We'd talk a little bit about football, and then I'd start my warm-up and I'd get on my way and I'd start working out, and then some of my friends or, friends I haven't met yet would come in, and they became friends. I mean, I have so many friends to this day from that community in my old hometown in New Smyrna at the old gym on Canal Street. So many friends to this day that I still speak to, and I'm 59 years old, and this is, like I said, over 40 years ago. It was probably 18, maybe 17 when I started going there. And, you have that community. So I new to working out. I was finding my way. I had friends that helped me. None of us knew anything yet. I definitely wasn't even close to being an exercise physiologist yet, let alone a personal trainer. I had no idea. There really wasn't such a thing as personal training back then. You had guys in the gym that were bigger than everybody else, and they told people what to do. And for the most part, we listened. And, hey, it was enough at the time for sure. I wouldn't recommend it for people with, special populations, but for young, strong kids, it worked out just fine. And, we'd support each other. We'd spot each other. We'd talk to each other. We'd banter with each other. We'd become friends outside of the gym, go out to eat. We'd pick healthier places that we thought were healthy at the time. We'd go see movies. I mean, these are all great memories that happened at the gym. And no, I don't believe there's any technology that can replace that. There is just no freaking way. I mean, people need people. And a matter of fact, I would say that technology in that case is detrimental, not AI. Like AI, I mean, I barely even understand it, right? I mean, no, but I'm talking about a lot of the different home programs that people can do via their computer or different kind of programs that they can get. I actually think it's kind of a detriment, I mean, look at the mental health crisis that we now have, right? I mean, you can tune into anything, wherever you get your news feeds, TV. They're talking about that there's an uptick in mental health issues, whether it be depression, anxiety, God forbid, suicides, right? But there is an uptick. And ever since COVID, there's been an even greater uptick with this. As a matter of fact, COVID is really kind of thought of as the culprit of all this, not the disease itself, the illness itself, but what we did to try to control it, which was a lot of isolation, a lot of hybrid working from home, or a lot of flat out working from home. I'm not going to get into the politics of that. I'm not going to get into what's best in the workplace. I've heard different opinions on that from business people that I listen to in podcasting, but I've heard pros and cons, but from my perspective, for mental health, I do not think it's a pro. I think people going to work and seeing other employees and seeing their coworkers and, even their bosses and seeing clients, I just think people need it. And, there's been a lot of research on that lately. There's loose ties and close ties. And I believe I've spoken about that in a prior podcast. But what that means is we have our close ties, like our family members and our really close friends that we can talk to, be vulnerable with, and be 100% authentic with. We have those people. Those are close ties. And they're vital. We don't need very many. And most of us don't have very many. And then we have our loose ties. And it was around the COVID time, and now that researchers, sociologists, and psychologists have determined that loose ties are a lot more important than we thought. And loose ties are the guy I mentioned at the gym that worked there when I was a kid, Scott. Big glasses. Don't remember his last name. That shows you that was a loose tie. No idea. Probably never knew his last name at the time, and I don't know if he had another job. I really don't know his story. But that was a loose tie, and it was important in my life. It was important in his life because research has shown that those kind of like real innocent conversations are good for us. They're a distraction. They're a stress relief. They remove anxiety. They get us out of ourselves. And so studies have found that loose ties are really beneficial. And sociologists didn't start talking about it until now and about the COVID time, because that is what people have been lacking. They haven't had those loose ties, as much. People weren't going to the grocery stores as much. And, my daughter might, argue with me and say, well, I wish they wouldn't at all, because she works there and she sees sometimes some of the worst of humanity. But I wouldn't say maybe the worst of humanity, but she sees, some people that she wished she did on a daily basis for sure. And, that is something else that's come out of this mental health crisis is people have forgotten how to be decent to other people because I guess they're in more pain or whatever, but they're taking it out on other people, and that is never okay. And that, of course, is not healthy. But she will tell me, where she works, they modified how many people could shop, but they still stayed open. And I can remember she would tell me, different customers that just she got to know and talk to, and those are loose ties. So for her, and, she was real young then. Gosh, she was finishing up high school, I guess, when COVID started. She got the benefits of some of loose ties of people that would come in the store. So she had that little casual conversation that helps a lot more than people realize. Now, she was one of those that had to finish her senior year at home, which absolutely sucks. And the kids paid a price for that. And it's really sad that happened, that they didn't get to go to school and finish out their school. So all this is related to fitness because the same thing has happened in the gym industry. There's places you can go now. Most gyms is a keypad to get in and use the facility as you wish. Even the YMCA has that with different memberships. You can go in, scan your card or scan your phones, your QR code, whatever, and go in and work out when you want to. And a lot of people say, well, I like to go. Nobody's there, But,
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to unlock your full potential? I want to introduce you to the Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast, a powerful resource to transform your life today with expert interviews, practical tips and inspiring stories, this podcast is your roadmap to lasting wellness. Here's what a listener has to say.
I used to struggle with my health, but this podcast changed everything. It's like having a personal trainer, nutritionist, and life coach totally for free.
With over 2,000 five-star reviews, we're a podcast you can trust. The Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Why aren't more people going to the gyms then if it's more convenient? It's because people actually do want to see people. I mean, it sounds cool at first, and there's no doubt that at times it's a benefit. Like for me, being a personal trainer, working in a gym all day long, sometimes I definitely like to de-stress and isolate when I work out. I like to put in my headphones and work out. Like if there's somebody else there, I don't work out at my gym. I won't work out when people are there. I don't like to. And if I'm somewhere else, and especially somewhere else where I might be known a little bit, know what I do, I don't like that. So I do tend to, I personally would like the privacy because I am in a gym talking to people all day, right? But I don't like privacy in general. The last thing I want to do is go home and be by myself and not be able to deload myself. Last thing I want to do is not have friends to talk to. So, that's not good for me. So for other people, I know that when you have your 30 minutes to an hour or whatever it is a day, you want to come in and work out, And I know like at my gym, I have a private gym for those that don't know. It's a personal training studio. It's one-on-one. One trainer, one client, and we'll have other people in there sometimes. Like we'll have a one trainer with somebody else, me with somebody else, whatever. But it's so funny. You would think people be like, no, man. I mean, there are some people that are like that. Thankfully, we don't really have clients like that. But there's been some in the past that have been, no, I want total privacy. I don't want anybody else there. That's the benefit to this. I don't really hear that. As a matter of fact, whenever my schedule's gotten a little twisted, and it's been a little twisted for me this week, I mean, you're listening to this next week, but for me this week, I've been upside down. I've had to cover a lot. And I've told clients, I said, hey, you can come at this normal time, but it's going to be you and so-and-so, and your guys are going to have to share this time because I'm full. And they're like, oh, I like when somebody else is there. I mean, I've had that. I've never really had, oh no, I don't want that. I want all of your attention. And nope. I mean, again, that happens sometimes, but most of the time people want to see other people at the gym. And even if that means sharing a personal training session, I don't care. I'm going to get the same workout. I mean, you're still going to tell me what to do and watch me. I mean, who cares? I mean, they like interaction. I watch people in there and their whole demeanor changes when other people show up. Like they like it and we like it. Hate to break it to you. I mean, I'm pretty much an introvert, but we're social creatures. I mean, we will gravitate towards other people. And there's no technology in the world that's going to get us to work out like our workout partners are. I mean, that's just not going to happen. We can utilize these tools, but no, we need people. And when I talk about in my book, like the values of personal training, I mean, it all comes down to that relationship, It comes down to the accountability. It comes down to the encouragement. It comes down to tough love, right? I mean, it comes down to pushing, right? Those 4 things. I mean, does it get any more important than that? I mean, you can throw education in there, but AI can probably do education. I mean, there's different programs you can program into your computer and tell you a fitness program based on your goals, and you can probably get real close to what you need to do. But it ain't going to meet you there. And if it does, you're probably going to be disappointed, right? I mean, you're going to get the encouragement if you set it to encourage you. I mean, like Facebook prompt, right? What's on your mind today? It's like, Yeah, that's a question to ask everybody, like anybody really cares what's on your mind today. But you might get those prompts like, you did your workout today. There you go. I mean, I know MyFitnessPal does that. After I log, for a week or something like that, or 10 days, it always says, congratulations, keeping up, you're crushing it. And it's not like I go, oh man, thanks, MyFitnessPal. I mean, oh my goodness, thank you. Right? I mean, you don't, it's a prompt. It can't encourage you, But what about when you've really been watching what you eat and eating better and doing your exercises, and all of a sudden you've dropped 4 pounds, and you come home and your partner says, wow, you really look good. Okay, we all know what that feels like. We just got that big old burst of dopamine, right? We just got a big smile. We just felt encouraged because we know it's a real human with real humans. Real humans with real humans. It's a human with real feelings telling us their real feelings. And that's pretty cool. You can have your AI or your program push you at the gym, right? Come on, do more, do more. I mean, I would imagine you can prompt it to do that. And you're going to be like, you know what, shut the hell up, right? And you might tell me that at times, right? I don't mind. I had somebody tell me that today, and then they, and then they did it. And that's great. I like that, right? So they can't push you, right? We need people to push us. We need people that care about us, care about our fitness, care about our progress to push us, right? So we need that encouragement, right? These are the things we need that only humans can give us. So no, I don't worry about those types of things in the future. I don't worry about stuff like that anyway. I try not to worry about things I can't control. But even when I just speak about this very objectively, it's like, no, man. I mean, fitness is always going to be about your relationship with you and your goals, and then the aid is always going to come from support and help. I mean, I have clients all over the place. I have clients that do remote workouts that live in different states, and one of them has access to 3 different gyms at his work. 3 different gyms because he works for a huge company out there in California. 3 gyms. But we call because he needs the accountability. He wants the accountability, and he's smart too. He wants the push because, believe it or not, on a FaceTime I can push, right? I'd be like, no, come on, push, whatever. Or add this weight, add that weight. He needs the encouragement. We all need the encouragement to keep going. Needs the tough love, right? Sometimes, the robot can tell us, oh, you failed on your goal today. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, I'm not going to be happy. I guess maybe it would say that. Whatever it would say, we wouldn't listen, right? We need that real tough love of somebody saying, look, I know you want to do this. I know you want to run that 5K on your birthday because you've never done it before. And I got to be honest with you, when you started this program, you were all in. And I've noticed now you've missed 2 out of your last 3 runs. This isn't going to cut it. And if you're going to continue to do this, you're not going to reach your goal. That's tough love. That's telling somebody the facts, telling them you care, and telling them what they're not doing right. That is tough love. I'm sorry, but there's not a program in the world you can program to do that you're going to listen to. So no, we need people. People aren't going anywhere. We're going to need each other to support each other. I need it too. I need support. I love support. I have certain people when I'll do a 5K or something like that are very supportive. And when I see them on, either they're running along or, crossing paths, they're very supportive. And it always gives me a little pick me up, right? It's a good thing. We all need it. And that's going to come from our good interactions. All right. So, my advice to you is if you have been doing a lot of stuff at home by yourself, yes, that's better than nothing, So if you've, a lot of people were doing Peloton, right? Everybody jumped on the Peloton revolution, and during COVID, man, it just went crazy, right? Everybody bought a Peloton, and now everybody's selling their Peloton for like half their worth. But, that is what it is. And I could have told you that was going to happen. But maybe you're one of those people still. I mean, that's great. I mean, I think there is time for isolation and exercise. But I strongly encourage you if you're going to stick with this, get some accountability partners, get in a group, join a running group, get in a gym with people that are friendly. I mean, really, honestly, in most gyms, people are friendly. I mean, I see these videos sometimes where people aren't, but I truly believe that's the anomaly. I mean, I really think people are friendly in most gyms. There's always going to be friendly people everywhere you go. There's going to be encouraging people wherever you go, So join a gym. If you're doing a lot of stuff at home and you're finding that, you're just not hitting the motivation like you want, well, remember these words, people need people. Maybe it's time to get out of the house and get with our fellow humans. And you know what? Be the encourager too, If you think you're, not at that point, that's not true. I mean, you working out, even if you think you haven't hit your goals yet, I mean, none of us have hit all of our goals. Be encouraging to other people too. Because there's a lot of fitness groups out there that are just beaming with encouragement, and I see it all the time online. It's one of the positive things online. So give it a try. Get out of the old basement and start getting out there. And just remember, people need people. Don't worry about Mr. Robot replacing us. All right, we can use them as tools. And at least in the fitness world, we're going to need each other. All right, be Max Fit and be Maxwell. Thank you for listening to today's show. I ask you to please follow this show on wherever you get your podcasts. And also please hit automatic downloads. It really helps me and it helps the show. Now I want to thank Overhead Door of Daytona Beach, the premier garage door company in Volusia County, with the best product, with the best service. I can vouch for Jeff and Zach Hawk, the owners. They are great people. If you need any help with your garage doors, give them a shout. 386-222-3165.